Coming up, a Sad Styles production.
Get into it.
Oh, hey Andrew, I'm a little burnt out.
Oh yeah, you look tired.
Well, fuck you first of all,
Okay.
but secondly,
I'm supporting you.
By saying that I look tired.
I was confirming your statement.
Okay,
You said it. Oh, you wanted me to say you look good?
couldn't hurt.
You look good. Where do you want to go on vacation? Where do you want to do something? You want to go away?
Yeah, I feel like I need a break from it all. I was thinking maybe I'll go hang out above a spike pit, Mortal Kombat, get uppercut by Johnny Cage, land in the spikes or something.
Wait. Oh, you want to go to like a place and play arcade games? Is that what you're trying to say?
If they have arcade games in the island where they're always doing the Mortal Kombat stuff, great. But I love video games. I just want to visit some of my favorite video game places. I don't know. Where would you go on vacation?
Oh, you want to go to one of your favorite video game places? Oh, that's interesting. And that's the first thing out of your mouth is Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I told you I'm tired and exhausted and I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh my God. You do what? Normal life?
Yeah, I'd rather get uppercut by Johnny Cage. He does the splits, uppercuts me into a spike pit.
Yeah.
Scorpion takes off his mask, burns me to a crisp.
Yeah. It sucks that they're showing off while doing it too. You can already beat me. Why are you humiliating me too?
Johnny Cage can beat the shit out of me.
I don't know. Maybe I want to take a visit and go to hell. See my Doom characters all over the place. Run away, terrified. Maybe it'll be like an athletic retreat or something like that. I'll come back 30 pounds less because I've been just running for my life.
Tell you what, if you're visiting hell, Andrew, you got to bring something to get you ready for CrossFit because you're going to be banishing a bunch of demons. Just like we're going to be exploring all of our favorite places to live in video games this week on the Retrograde Podcast.
Welcome to the Retrograde
video game podcast where we think about all the great places from video games we'd love to live instead of this fucking Earth.
Yeah, well, some of mine are on Earth.
Oh,
yeah, this Earth.
This Earth?
Yeah, man, it gets
Tale of
really
two Earths.
confusing fast. Where you're like, this Earth, you're like, well, it didn't happen in our human timeline. But my name's Andrew Bascom. With me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey, where in the world is Aaron Worth?
Mikey Magellan Aaronworth.
Mikey, oh, that's a better one.
I'd never do that. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to punch up your
You
nicknames.
should, because now I have to try harder to succeed
Yeah.
at the thing that I made up and the burden that I put on myself. We're only 250 made up names that I've made for myself now.
Yes.
I'm starting
repeats.
The well is running dry, but only the good ones repeat themselves.
Yeah, 100%. They race to the top. That'd
Mikey
be great
Andretti,
if
speaking of
you.
racing.
Yes, Mikey Andretti. That's one of the best ones of all time. But yes, we are going to be naming the places we want to live in the video game lore, video game world.
Kind of the top 10 locations, areas, worlds, maps from all video games that we'd rather live than this mortal plane that we're in right now. I'm excited to do it. And as I mentioned, I'm Mike Aaron with your Andrew Bascom. We are the two greatest video game journalists you've never heard of. And we love talking this type of nonsense.
Oh, we do.
I can't wait to get into this one. This is one of the lists that I had some of the most fun putting together.
I agree with you.
In order to do it, you have to envision yourself living in these places, which I kind of is like a byproduct of me playing these games.
Yeah.
Is this something that you fantasized about a lot?
Living somewhere else?
Again, not on Earth. Like if one of your choices is like San
Lisbon.
Francisco. Yeah, I'm like, no.
Huh? But Lisbon's beautiful. Have you seen pictures? I've been showing pictures to you.
I visited Greece in Assassin's Creed, and that's where I want to live. Yeah, you're like, you mean like ancient Greece? You're like, no, modern day Greece.
Okay, nothing makes me laugh more than when you watch like Game of Thrones and they're like, okay, so like what time do you think this happened at?
Good question.
And that question has been brought up by multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, and they understand. They're like, no, I know it's not real, but like, what do you think? And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
What are we doing?
Yeah,
But do you think an RPG could have killed a dragon? We're like, we don't give a fuck.
just watching like Star Wars. It's like a long, long time ago in a galaxy. Like a long what? Whoa, what? Oh God! And just ears start bleeding. Thinking too hard. No, I think there is a lot of like fantasy satisfaction kind of playing video games where you're seeing parts of things that you can never do. You feel powerful playing as a character, you know, whatever. And so it's hard not to look at some worlds and go like, I wonder what that would be like.
Well, so before we get into it, because I want to talk a little bit about the games that we've been playing recently, but before we lead off this intro to the eventual top 10 lists that we're going to have, when you're putting these things together, are you thinking of an idyllic place to live or a fun place to live or an extreme place to live?
Okay, we need to talk. Okay, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of the way. I tried not to choose places that would be hyper violent or everyone is trying to be hyper violent all the time.
Right.
I need to think about my own survival.
Well, of course. I'd be able to survive in those places, but
well, you're big boy Mikey.
yeah, I know, Andrew. Shut up.
Okay. Yeah.
You never hack it in my world.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
You would
that
never
hurt me more than I thought it would. Ow. Wow, he thinks a lot less of me.
How long could you sit at a desk for a day, Andrew?
Not very long. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Not very long.
The
You're
mean cyber streets, cyber criminals out there all the time,
Ooh, Cyberpunk on your list?
ransomware.
Cyberpunk on your list?
I thought about Night City, actually.
I thought I didn't know if you were going to. I haven't played that game.
It's
so
too
unfortunately-
sexy and dangerous, Andrew.
I like the idea that like I want no danger. You're like too sexy.
Too sexy.
Yeah. No. I thought about places. What?
I'd be walking to be like, it's time for me to go to work, and people would be like, want me to show you a good time, with like half a metal body and fucking smoking some drug I've never seen before. I'm like, yes, show me a great time. The stakes seem really low here.
You're talking to like a future Lamborghini robot
Yes,
person, and
yes.
they're like, we have to go steal the Declaration of Independence, whatever. And you're like, is there a coffee shop in the area that I really? And you're like, oh, this guy sucks. Yeah, I chose to choose places that would be inherently dangerous to me. Now, I have a few of those places with some caveats.
Sure.
Because I always imagine what would be my life. Like, what does my life look like in this world?
That's true.
So here off the top of my list, I didn't choose any of the GTAs.
Okay.
So I'll use that as an example of saying like, they're kind of real world cities.
Yeah.
Like they're based on something equivalent, except there might be a guy with a flamethrower running
But
around.
what if that guy is you, Andrew?
I don't have that bloodlust in real life.
What?
Do you think you're ever going to murder somebody?
What?
Have you murdered somebody?
I can't believe this. I'm not a cop. I don't have to answer these questions.
You're not a cop? I think we've done something similar to this. You're not a cop?
I'm not a cop anymore.
That doesn't
They didn't let me after I murdered that guy. I had to give my badge in. So I'm not going to answer your question.
That doesn't sound like police. I know.
I walked into...
You should still have a job.
I murdered someone in cold blood. I walked into the corporal's office, the captain's office.
Corporal.
And I walked into the captain's office.
Yeah.
I said, first of all, he had a giant wheel that was made of wood.
Oh, you're on a ship.
I was on a ship.
Oh, okay.
And I said, I'm sorry, I've killed someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to give him my badge, and he just winked it, and he kept winking at me.
Desk duty for you, sir.
Yes. That
Enjoy
desk
that
was on the
pension.
streets of New York City.
Oh,
Andrew.
was it really?
Yeah. It was a
Oh.
standing desk and a walking desk. The desk was a gun.
Could you imagine if you were a police officer and you're like, can I get please a standing walking desk? The amount of ridicule you would receive from your colleagues.
That would be great though if you're assigned to desk duty and you're like, if the desk rolls, can I take it outside of duty?
Somebody comes back like, Aaronworth, you're on the beat. You're like, no, I have to stay on my walking standing desk. Like, that's the same thing. It's like, it is not the same thing.
I once saw someone, and to this day, I don't know if I love this guy or hate him, but he was walking around a mall with a big old backpack on and a front like table that folded down, and he had a laptop on it attached to his backpack, which was like a bat or like a screen. So he was walking around with a computer and he was playing World of Warcraft while he was walking around the mall. And I don't know if he is my hero or someone that I should have killed as a cop.
Mikey, I'm surprised you didn't ask them to come on the podcast. I'm surprised this is a story you've never brought up before. Oh my God. That is a horrifying thought.
Yeah.
To be that chained in.
But I'm like,
It's like right out of Cyberpunk.
hell yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Except he's probably playing in his cyber deck. He doesn't need the screen, man.
He's playing in 3000. He's so
Yeah.
far ahead of us. Wow.
No, this was way back in the day. I think he was walking around the mall like a mall walker, so he was getting exercise. He was just playing World of Warcraft
Cord
while
issues.
doing it. Yeah.
Sir, you need to get out there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
So yeah, bottom line is you couldn't hack it in my world.
Thank you. Thank you for getting back to the origin of this.
Speaking of Cyberpunk, you couldn't hack it.
Nice.
That's another joke we can
That's
say.
very good. I've got a couple places I can hack in my places I want to live. So funny enough, think about that one.
Well, in Fallout, he's hacking, he's whacking, he's smacking. That's a song in Fallout, so there's something too. So let's leave that aside a little bit before we get into our top 10 lists, Andrew. Gaming stuff. I've got some gaming news. We talked about how you and I visited Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to be brought up later this episode.
Okay.
Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. I do know, but I'm not going to tell you.
I don't.
On the trip back, the airplane ride back, which, by the way, as a kid, used to hate flying. Now, I fucking love flying.
It's an excuse.
Because I have my Steam Deck, and I can just play video games for 4.5 hours.
Amazing.
It is a dream.
What a dream.
I downloaded the game Pizza Tower. Have you heard about?
I have not.
It is
Sounds like a wonderful place I want to live.
Andrew, number one with a bullet.
Pizza Town. I'm just hearing about it, but from what I hear, it sounds delicious.
It's amazing. It's a game that's styled off of the play style of like a Wario Land, where momentum and combat and combos kind of play into one another. It's almost like a time-based platformer, which I'll get into in a little bit, but the aesthetics of this game are brilliant. It's like a Nickelodeon cartoon, like Ed, Ed and Eddie or something like that, with this weird kind of styling, like someone drew real humans, but then like smeared them with their hand, and they're all kind of like all weird and exaggerated. The story is nonsensical in the best way possible. There's a pizza tower that you have to climb, and you were just a person who like ran a pizza shop. And I don't, that's all.
Is it a nightmare?
It sounds like a dream to me.
Yeah, boy, does
like
it.
a dream. I run my own pizza shop. I will get high on my own supply.
Are you living a sitcom? This sounds wonderful.
2 guys, a girl, in a pizza place.
100%.
Everyone in that becomes a billionaire if their name's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, those poor other guy and girl and pizza place, eh?
The pizza place foreclosed.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I remember in that show too, I think in later seasons, it was 2 guys and a girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
and
they
not
got
a
rid of
pizza
the
place.
Yeah, they found that too limiting.
Well, maybe it got sucked up in this pizza tower.
Yeah, maybe
so
it did.
The game itself is really interesting. It's all about momentum, dashing, getting hit resets your combo meter, and then you get ranked at the end of each level as you go. There are different power-ups and pickups that will allow you to traverse different areas better. Sometimes they're required. So you have to find ways to like combo your way through. You jump, kill enemies, don't get hit by them. If you do, your combo is ruined, almost like you miss a grind in Tony Hawk or something like that. So looking at it, it seems like it's going to be just like a side-scrolling beat 'em up or a side-scrolling platformer or something like that. But it really does function more as like a Tony Hawk or like a combo-based game, and it's a really cool idea. Something unlike anything I've ever played. The reference I always hear is Wario World, but that's a game that I haven't played, so I don't know if it's one-to-one. But the idea of going into these levels, which are kind of bite-sized, like they'll take you 5-6 minutes, and then there's a required speed run at the end of it where you have to escape the area before the time runs out. And it just makes it so it's like, we've shown you everything. You've played all the different parts. You've gotten through it. Now retrace your steps as fast as you can. And there's some pickups and power-ups and things like that. Very cool idea. I had a solid couple hours with it. And if you're looking for a $20, $25 game to get you through another plane ride with your Steam Deck, definitely go for it.
That's so funny. That sounds awesome. On the plane ride that I was also on with you, I played Civilization 6.
Of course you did.
And in a 4-hour trip, I did not finish one game.
In 4 hours, you didn't finish one game?
Mikey, I take no joy in reporting this. I didn't finish one game.
Did you get satisfaction out of it, though?
No.
Oh,
no, because I don't know what the result was. I eventually lost. I didn't win. Goddamn Dutch. And it is funny. It would Dutch. This game teaches you to be racist against weird civilizations that don't exist anymore. Well, the Dutch.
So you must be pretty good at that game.
I'm incredibly good. I've had my whole life to practice. All of a sudden, like it was the French for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And for reasons outside the game too. And and had just like they're warmongers in the game, so like they always come after you, and you're like, God damn it.
Fuck the French.
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't make sense that they're warmongers.
For some reason, they always attack me. I don't know what I did to them.
That's why we had to call them freedom fries, because they wouldn't join the war.
That's true. They've learned from their past transgressions.
The future transgressions, so that in the past.
Shit. Yeah, wait. Oh, God. No, but I think it's Medici is the leader. I forget now.
Isn't Medici Italian?
I thought so too, but I think it's all the families kind of run clear after a while.
It's not like Napoleon?
No, I don't believe it's Napoleon.
Interesting.
Which, that should have been Napoleon, right? It is. I've always given them a lot of credits. It's usually not the most obvious person. Except for Gandhi. But
the least obvious.
To lead to be the
I
symbol
guess
of
you
the
don't have
country.
to have war. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like name your most famous non-sports entertainment star. You know what I mean? It's like it has to be a relatively political figure.
True.
But yeah, so it's usually like, I don't know, a general or something.
So which version of Civ are you playing right now?
6.
And is that on your phone?
It was on the iOS,
Interesting.
which ran great.
Yeah, it
The
works
phone
well.
gets a little warm after a while, but it's like, wow, we're really stressing here.
This is why lithium-ion batteries were exploding on airplanes, because people were trying to play Civ 6.
That's not a bad idea. The pilot came back to warn me directly. he's like, you know, one playing Civilization, great game. You can't do that here.
You cannot do that.
No,
here.
100%.
I not to do with games, but I had a trip once to China, and I had a Microsoft Surface Pro, which is run by a lithium-ion battery. Not uncommon. There are lithium-ion batteries in just about everything now. But this was around the time where like Samsung Galaxies were exploding.
Yes.
And my lithium-ion battery had reached a point where it had like almost exploded. It had.
What does that mean?
It had expanded.
Oh my
so I had
God.
to get it replaced from like I called Microsoft about it, and I was like, my battery is breaking my computer, and they're like, you're out of warranty. And I'm like, okay, I feel like you should fix this because it seems dangerous. And they're like, it is, don't go on an airplane. And I was like, if this is dangerous, you need to fix this for me. This is a hazard.
Yeah.
And they didn't end up doing it. Long story short, I got it replaced at like just like a hole in the wall repair place. But Jesus Christ, on that flight over to China, I was like, I hope they did a good job. I hope they got this shit right.
I do appreciate the customer service on Microsoft is like, excuse me, the battery's expanding. And just on the other line, like, oh yeah, they'll do that. like completely aware of the problem. Like, yeah, I'm not doing anything about it. But like,
I almost wanted to say like, I'm going to send this email exchange to a family member, and I have to take this flight, and I'm going to take it regardless. If something happens, the world's going to know that Microsoft did not replace my lithium-ion battery. that is kind of speaks to your personality about like how deep you'll turn any grudge. I'm going to die, and boy, if I'm not, I'm going to take down 200 people with me.
Oh, my local publication will eat this up, and nothing will change.
So Civ, are you going to stick with it, or is that purely an airplane game for you?
I think it'll be an airplane game. I played a little bit when I got off the plane, and then that loss was so sour in my mouth that I'll see. You know, it is also such a big game that I've played it. I don't know, 100 hours or something like that, and probably played 4 games, and yet I'm still not even sure if I'm playing it correctly.
Yeah.
Like I bet you I'm only playing 15% or 20% correctly, and if that game doesn't go directly that way, then I'm completely lost.
Have you ever looked up like strategy videos on YouTube or anything?
I have, and then there's just too much. Like I'm like, oh, am I supposed to learn all this?
I would rather read an encyclopedia.
I'd rather get my master's degree.
Exactly.
What the hell?
Thinking about the amount of time that I've watched like strategy videos on Overwatch, like I could have been a published writer by this point. I could have been like a computer science degree or something like that.
It keeps me warm at night with those thoughts. I'm like, oh, you could have done a lot of great things, but here we are.
Let's cue up the next video by Six on YouTube. He's so good at Roadhog. You're like, oh, fucking hell.
Oh, God.
So Andrew, speaking of flying to places like China with a lithium-ion battery, I'm
a bunch of them.
I think
you had a bag of them.
Which one was from Microsoft? Who knows?
Who knows?
But they do have the letter. I'm excited to talk about this. Our top 10 most ideal places to live, or places that we want to live from video games.
There's a desire for us to live there.
Yeah, for any reason. It could be idyllic. Idyllic.
Idyllic. It's a Pokemon, right?
It's idyllic a ton. It could be a fun place to live. It could be a beautiful place to live. It could be a calm place to live. That's kind of what I thought about, and I wanted to have some representation from all of it. I did want to have a couple chaotic places on my list.
Good for you.
Just because it's a video game, and maybe I can experience some of that in my real life. Now, understanding we don't turn into our video game characters.
No.
So rather than having caveats, for most of mine, I tried to pick places that would be suitable to living a chaotic life in that context, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then also just some fun little choices. Anything else you want to add about how you got to your list?
I almost have to do this turn by turn, like the reasons why, but I think it was the same thing. It's providing something in my life that I currently don't have in my own environment.
Right.
That I'm
love, friendship, fun, satisfaction.
Exactly. I'd like to visit Hugland.
A big penis.
Yeah. Yes. Oh wait, big penis. Okay, it's not on
you
there
don't
yet.
have big penis.
Let me just figure that number 4, big penis. So as always, when we're doing our lists, Mikey and I have not shared them with each other.
No,
These are going to be reveals to each other, just like it will be to you. So there might be some crossover. Maybe they're not. Who knows?
If there is, we will save conversation about that selection until the higher of the choices comes up.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Love it.
Andrew, do you want to start off?
I would love to start off.
Yeah.
Number 10. We're doing 10, right? We didn't even talk
10.
about
We are
that.
doing 10.
Wow, we kept our list so secret. We didn't even tell them how many numbers were on that list. Number 10. I'm going to choose the Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm choosing the Mushroom Kingdom. And this kind of goes against a large part of where I was thinking for the rest of my list. But I don't think it would be fun to live in the Mushroom Kingdom. I think you're constantly at attack by Bowser and his minions.
That's
and
true.
the many, many enemies that they have them. They have floating wooden ships. They can visit you anywhere. It's very scary. Even when
There are bullets who seek you out.
Yes, and speaking of Mikey going on vacation, even when you're on vacation, they might come after you because they also might be vacationing at the same spot, which is terrifying. But
That's a nod to Super Mario World.
yes, Super Mario World, which you done on the podcast, which that's how Mario and Bowser fight. Because they're like,
Bowser's on vacation too.
yes, exactly. They don't show that part of the Rocky movie. Thunderlips is here too. God damn it! Now we got to fight. But the colors and the music.
Thunderlips sink ships, by the way. Floating ships, wooden ships.
Thunderlips does. I like that his name's Thunderlips, and they're like, it's because he talks well. I'm like, oh, sure. Yeah. It's kind of like Randy Johnson, who's named the Big Unit, and you're like, because he's a large guy, and you're like, yeah, right. That's an amazing nickname.
It's like why my name is like Big Stinky Piece of Shit, and it's not because I don't have that in my underwear at all.
No, it's because you're a real stinker. Like you make jokes.
Yeah, I make so many jokes.
Yeah,
and that's true.
That is true. You do make a lot of jokes, a lot, and too many, some would say. But so I don't think this would be a fun place to live because it's also like you don't see a lot of homes. You don't see a lot of like establishments or. You know, there's food on bushes. You know, that's kind of good.
Apples.
Dinosaurs want to be your friends.
That's cool.
Kind of cool.
Worth the price of admission. In my mind.
But I'm just thinking about the core basis of living.
You're trying to convince. You're supposed to tell us why you do want to live there.
No, but I think it's a natural one that people are like, I'd love to live in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
They're building fucking theme parks of the Mushroom Kingdom. I want to be there. I want to live in this world. I'm trying to say, I don't think it's all it's cracked up to be. Yet, the allure, the siren song of Mushroom Kingdom for my ship to go crashing on its shores would be very strong. And I think that's my number 10.
I hear ya. I in some of my choices got more specific on purpose. Okay. So there's a selection from the Mushroom Kingdom in my list, but a specific area within there that I'll talk about a little bit later.
Perfect. Can't wait.
And I did a little bit of both sometimes where I chose like an overarching place and then I got hyper specific just to really show us one area, assuming that if you pick the overarching one, you can still go to the small one. And if you pick the small one, you can still visit the rest of the world. You're good.
Okay. That makes sense. I like that.
So number 10 for me. Yeah. I don't think you played this game, but it's from a game recently. Actually, this company, Arcane, just had a bit of a stinker release recently in
Mike Aaronworth.
It was big. That's why. Yeah, that it didn't shit itself. Was it Red? Why is the name escaping? Redfall? Yeah, Redfall.
Oh, Redfall, yes.
Redfall came out, is getting very much panned, but Arcane, prior to that released Deathloop. Yes. And Deathloop takes place in a place called Black Reef. And Black Reef is an area where a 3-day cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. Now, the reason why this is appealing to me.
You want that?
Is because the most powerful people in the world set this place up so that they could basically live out Valhalla for the rest of their time. Oh. You live a 3-day cycle. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can party your ass off. You can kill people. Yeah. You can steal. You can eat whatever the fuck you want because it's not going to go past 3 days. And then at the end of the 3-day cycle, straight back to the beginning.
Wow.
Now, couple caveats.
Okay.
And this isn't, I will live there regardless, but leading up to it, I am making sure that I eat incredibly healthy, that I am at peak health. I don't want to be sick because if you're sick day one, you're going to be sick day one every time the loop repeats. You pull your back out, your back is going to be injured the first day of every cycle.
What?
That's something you just got to be considered.
Okay.
There's a line of dialogue from one of the NPCs like, of course I blow my back out the day before this starts. So every time the cycle restarts, that person has to have just like a shitty back, and there's no escape from it. That sounds shitty.
That sounds terrible.
The other thing that sounds shitty is, as I mentioned, it's all the richest, most powerful people in the world who can afford to go to this place. So it's really going to suck being with most of them. They're probably all going to be assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was your dad? Oh, cool.
Cool.
That sounds fun. Yeah. My dad started.
Your dad was Jeff Bezos' boss. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
My dad made guns more deadly. Oh, cool. Sounds good. What do you do? I have a liberal arts degree. No, okay. Yeah. Okay, so that does sound fun though. about.
Yeah.
It's fun to think about the groundhog situation
Yes.
in a positive light.
Yeah.
What could you do? You could read every book that's ever existed.
For sure.
Could, as long as you get access to it. But yes, you know what
and
I mean?
there's also this. I mean, they have the internet on it, so you'd be fine. You can
Well,
do
there you
whatever
go.
wanted. There's this other side to it where the loop does repeat, but there is a way to break the loop. That's at the
Yeah.
core of the game, death loop. So if you want a good puzzle, if you're bored of it, you can figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
So Black Reef.
Black Reef from
Okay.
Deathloop.
From Deathloop for number 10 for you. Number 9 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you have this one.
Okay.
Mist.
Oh my God,
The
Andrew, that
World
is a
of
great
Mist.
choice.
Thank
I don't
you.
have that one, but I love that choice.
Okay. Now I'm going to do it again where I'm going to start with a bunch of negatives and
Okay.
kind of go from there. Very spooky.
Too scary.
It's something's off. Something's happening.
Something's off.
And I don't see it and I don't know what's going on.
No.
Why are there no people? That's weird.
Very ominous.
Very ominous. But with that being said,
Mm.
the architecture of the place is beautiful.
Oh, stunning.
Stunning. You know, very
Frank
calming.
Lloyd Wright, eat your heart out.
Yeah. I hope you die, Frank Gehry. Oh God, did I just curse Frank Gehry?
Oh,
He's an old
stop
man.
cursing Frank
He's an
Gehry.
old man.
Didn't we say we were going to do that? We were
Oh
gonna
yeah, we're going to
predict
start
deaths?
predicting more deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Miss Piggy.
Everyone out there, Miss Piggy.
Immediately chose an imaginary character. Okay, yeah, that's not great.
Yes.
Being alone, positive, negative.
Yeah.
Eventually a negative.
Mm.
And then positive again.
I
It
think I
goes
would
up
love
and down.
it.
Yeah.
exactly.
Goes up and
I'd be
down.
okay with that. A lot of puzzles to
A
solve.
lot of puzzles to solve. You can go like, why doesn't this crank turn anything? And
Yeah.
you're kind of like looking around.
Do you want an island that's controlled by a lever? Come to Mist.
100%. There's fish in the pond.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I could feed the fish.
Do you want a book with static pictures of old men?
Yeah.
And not static as in they don't move. They do move, but they're full of static. Come to Mist.
Yeah, come to Mist. Do you want to hear ominous whispering every once in a while? Come to Mist. That being said, it would be a fun 3-day experiment. You know, like Aaron Rodgers, now quarterback for the New York Jets, went on a silence retreat, a darkness retreat, where he sat in a dark room for 4 days, which also is what we do to people in Guantanamo Bay. But he's rich and he chose to do that, and that's cool. It would be kind of like that, where I bet I would come back with some level of clarity.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I bet you
Yeah.
would. And you'd probably be a much more logical person because you have to solve puzzles everywhere you go. Like, I want to go to bed, and the bed is like a Murphy bed. And
Yes.
you're like, how do you get it to come down? There's like a fucking model of a ship out there, and then there's a ship in the harbor. And you're like, does this have anything to do with the Murphy bed here? Why am I looking at the stars to bring this tide up? What is happening?
I can't prove it, but Murphy bed is definitely an Irish slur. I can't prove it. I'm just saying. But yes, I would come out and be like, I was best friends with the triangle. You're like, okay, Andrew's got crazy stories about Mist. He's talking about Mist again.
You're doing your Aaron Rodgers impression again.
Yeah, 100%. So there you go. That's my number 9, Mist.
I love that. Mist is a great one. I did not have that on my list.
All right.
Number 9 on my list is one I don't think you'll have because I know
Okay.
you're familiar with the game, but I know you didn't like it as much as I did. It's the Citadel from Mass Effect.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
Yes. This is a stand-in for the Mass Effect universe to me.
Okay.
Will it be the Citadel? Who knows? But they've got relays. I can go to any part of the universe I want.
Right.
Because with living in the Citadel comes living with space travel and light speed and being able to pillage entire planets if you want to.
If you want
to, because you need resources.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Also, Miranda's in that universe.
Right. Who is
My
crush?
my biggest video game crush. Or one? Was she number 1 on that list? I think she was.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Now
Yeah.
I just forgot we did that.
For
Also,
Valentine's Day.
also,
It was.
good job by us.
You're welcome, video games. Just us slobbering.
Us sexualizing characters that some were intended to be sexualized and others were not.
Yeah. We're looking at you,
Thanks,
Joel.
Jinx. Nice. So, okay, also, when I think about Mass Effect, I always think about how you have, Mikey has a best friend. And you get to spend time with your best friend.
Andrew, you're making fun of me, but
I'm sorry.
tell me you have a more meaningful relationship with anyone in your life than I had with Garrus.
Garrus is, of course, an alien, right?
We're all aliens to one another.
That's a good point, actually. Solid argument.
Yeah.
Because that's what Garrus's best friend on his podcast is making fun of him for.
He's got an
you're making
alien
fun of that
friend.
alien guy, right?
They have 5 fingers? What do they need them all for?
What's the thing between their legs? What's that all about?
Garrus knows all about that.
I just always think, and it's an adorable story, but when Mass Effect was ending, you
Yeah.
said, I had to say goodbye to Garrus.
I have to say goodbye to Garrus.
It is so wholesome. I'm sorry. I'm not
It's
making
not
funny.
funny.
It isn't funny.
It was a legitimate moment of loss in my life. I don't know how else to
I'm
explain.
not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your earnestness.
I'm not
about
laughing, so you can't be laughing with me. It's not funny to
I
me.
didn't say that. I said I'm not laughing at you.
No, I said you can't be laughing. Well, the opposite to laughing at
Those
is
aren't the
with.
only two options.
What
Those
is
are just
the
the ones that are most cited.
I'm laughing in tandem. I'm laughing in a parallel universe to you.
I'm laughing unrelated to at you with you because it's just you're so earnest about it, and I believe you. I know that that's true, and a lot of people probably have that relationship with their Garrus of their life, and I've always thought about that story. I was like, and then I had to say goodbye to my friend, and it's true. It's so sad, but it's true, and it makes me laugh.
And we
because
both
of
knew
that.
there was a good chance we were going to die too.
But you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you died at the end of that game?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, right. And everyone's really upset about it.
Well, you
10
knew it
years
was
ago.
going to happen. Yeah. It was a whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't think
okay.
there's any way to survive as
So the
as
Citadel
Shepherd,
is your
but
number
the
9?
Citadel, yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, my plan to like for a profession, the Citadel is great. It's got a lot of futuristic things. It's got places to drink. It's got places to eat. But you know what it doesn't have? A little touch of way back home. It doesn't have the Citadel-y. And I'm going to open up a restaurant and everyone's going to fucking love it.
Oh God, where are you going for lunch? Citadel. Oh, I couldn't get a rezo. That sounds good. So 10, 9, 8. 8. I'm gonna have. Wait, I need to make sure I've got the right number. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Whoa, wait.
5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
I didn't want to. I'm like, oh, and I got to 1, and I'm like,
number
actually,
1 is,
my real one is. I'm gonna choose Pandora from Borderlands.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this goes into one of my few violent categories.
Yes.
But to be a marauder, to be living off the land and have your gang of people, hey, everyone just wants to be part of a gang. Everyone wants to be wanted and accepted.
You're such a loser.
You don't want that?
You want to be accepted by a bunch of virtual things?
What if Garrus was part of your gang?
That he's not virtual, Andrew. He's real to me. God damn it.
I just think if Garrus showed up in another game and you had the option to go hug him, you'd be like, Garrus, it's been so long.
It would be too much. It would be too hard. I said my goodbye. I cannot pick that scab, Andrew. I don't want him in another game. Don't do that.
D-pads, we joke a lot on this podcast. Everything around Mikey's tone was saying joke, but his eyes were saying real. His eyes were like, it would be too painful. I couldn't do it.
It would be too painful.
It would be the Alfred and Batman in Italy at the end of Dark Knight
Yes.
Returns where they
Yes.
nod at each other. You got to
Yes.
stay separate.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm choosing Pandora because I get to have a fun outfit with a bunch of weirdos, and that's kind of cool. There's a talking robot that follows me around. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, you want Claptrap?
No,
I'm kicking that guy like an Aaron Rodgers football.
It's famous kicker, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I just think it would be fun. The driving, I think, is the real appeal. That you
Yes.
could just
Oh, yeah.
let it rip, and here we go. And you kind of go like, wonder what weird character I'm going to see today.
It's a big Mad Max vibe for sure.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And since I'm not going to choose Mad Max the video game because that's not the most famous version of Mad Max,
Right.
I thought this would be the most fun as like the most out there world.
You know what I like about that is I would find some guns that suit me.
Yes.
And I would just go live in one of the level 1 areas.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing about Pandora, segregation.
Jesus.
Of levels,
Of
Andrew.
levels.
Of levels. You're not going
Okay.
to find a level 36 wildebeest hanging out with all the level 1s over
Yeah.
there. You can't.
No, you can't.
And they shouldn't drink from the same water fountain.
Oh, Jesus, here we
They
go.
shouldn't.
I just love the idea that you would get there and go like, where's level 1's at? And they're like, it's over there. And you're like, got it.
And they kick the shit out of me.
Every
Fresh
person,
meat.
what is the right control for boom, boom, boom? They're just pounding you in the head. I'm over like, fuck.
But that ensures that you're not going to die in this world, is what I'm saying.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I make this, this fantasy in my head of like, I'm going to,
You and Garrus.
I'm going to be, me and Garrus. I'm
Hugging.
in like a gimp mask and like a jumper. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is a totally different life for me. And instead I get to the world and they're like, you're Handsome Jack's accountant. I'm like, motherfucker, how am I in an office again? Like showing up for work every day with a briefcase. Like, oh, how? And I see someone driving and like shooting a gun in the air. I'm like, that's what I want.
But you'd still have to wear the mask for
Yeah,
some reason.
I have to
as
zip. I'm like,
accountant. Just
we're losing money. Just zip it back up again.
with Andrew Bascom.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
So
Synergy.
my number 8 is going to be there's actually maybe another selection from this game on this list. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
But apropos of a couple weeks ago, I'm taking a selection from a Zelda game. This is
Oh.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's Kakariko Village. What is there to say about Kakariko Village? You're on the plane with Epona. It's getting dark. The zombies are coming out. you see a little as happens.
Yeah. Ooh, it's like everyone describing bullfrogs. You're like the nice moan of the zombie out for the night.
You've just finished convincing a gravedigger to dig up graves in hopes to find rupees. The pose tried to get you, but you escape by the skin of your teeth. You roll on into Kakariko Village.
This game is a lot darker than I thought
It
was.
is pretty dark.
Jesus.
Yeah, it can be pretty dark. And you hear the dulcet tones of the windmill song playing.
That sounds nice.
Kakariko Village is a great theme song. The windmill in there has the Song of Storms that's playing. You can fly if you have some cuckoos, there's some chickens. You can jump off cliffs with chickens in your hand and you fly. That's great. And all the villagers are just kind of down to clown. It's a safe haven in an otherwise pretty dangerous world, and an area of a very impressionable game, a very impressionable area tucked within that. And I've always felt very calm and at home and at ease when I've gone to Kakariko Village in Ocarina of Time.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm surprised it's this high on your list.
So
low on your list.
Low on my list.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I'll explain why.
Okay.
Once I'm finished my selections.
Waiting with bated breath. Okay, that was my number 8. So my number 7 is going to be Stardew Valley.
Okay, this was one of my honorable mentions.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Yes.
Pelican Town from Stardew Valley.
I'm surprised we have not run into anything yet.
Yeah.
So you'd sit there and go, well, Andrew, you can have this life. It's just a farm. And I'd be like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Here's the problem. I don't want to farm. I want to push buttons and have this poor idiot do all of that.
But if you live there, you do have to farm.
I do, but it's so easy as compared to real farming.
That's a great point.
Plants never die. They're never sick. It's never like, oh, we had a bad harvest this year.
Yeah.
My dog doesn't need to be fed or sleep. He can just stand outside and just be healthy. And he also never dies. We could play 100 years in this game. He's going to be infinite. Doesn't that sound like a slice of heaven?
That actually sounds amazing.
And then every once in a while, where you're like, man, this serene life of this farm is too boring. I'm going to go fight goblins in a cave. Fantastic. Who doesn't want this?
And worst case scenario, those goblins, like the level 1 wildebeests, overpower you.
Yeah.
Just like they did in Pandora.
Time to faint.
You just faint, someone carries you home. Takes a little bit of, you know what? They don't take enough money.
They really don't.
Every time I find a passed out person in a cave just got dummied by goblins, I'm taking half of what they've got.
I rob them blind.
I rob them blind.
Absolutely.
Like those goblins.
Yes, 100%. And then I trade with Goblin King and go, how much you want for him?
I'm not taking him home. I'm taking him deeper in the cave and letting him figure it out from there.
Biggest issue I got to deal with? Rocks and twigs.
Rocks and twigs.
Life's pretty good. I don't know. Constantly, villagers are coming up like, you want to get married? I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm a weird spinster.
We've got a festival and we're going to celebrate you. And you're like, nah, I don't know about that.
Okay, that is one of my cons. The festivals. Clearly a midsummer thing is happening, and eventually they're like, time to kill the 5 oldest people. And you're like, wait, I got to watch this?
Eventually you're going to want it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll
You
be
can
in the
only do it
middle
for
of
so long.
Yeah, I'll be in one of the burning effigies in the middle,
Yes.
like, time to die. My dog will continue living on forever.
The poor dog.
What a beautiful
Do you
world.
think the dog is going to mourn the loss of you then?
Holy shit. Maybe the dog is the main character of the game. And he's just waiting for me to go.
The dog is the protagonist of its own story.
Hey, aren't we all?
Maybe I'm playing as the dog.
Yeah.
And
The
you've
dog's
just been petting me all day, baby.
I'm afraid that I'm going to get some kind of meal that I can feed the dog, and the dog can speak and look at me and he goes, you're my 36th owner. And you're like, whoa. Are you immortal? Have you been living forever? It's amazing.
I love that idea, and
Yeah.
I did have it on my list. Didn't quite make it for a variety of reasons, but I'll go to my number 7.
Yes.
You mentioned that you don't have anywhere from Grand Theft Auto.
No.
I do, Andrew.
Really?
Because I am the one who shoots in this case or drives erratically.
Can I guess which one?
Vice City.
Vice City. Oh, yeah.
It's
there
gotta
you
be
go.
Vice City.
100%
Yeah,
Vice
yeah.
City.
It's the lights, the colors, the 80s, the cocaine. Did I mention the cocaine? The strip club where, sure, they've got pasties on their boobs, but you can walk in there with the sniper rifle and aim directly at their boobs to look at them through the scope, and no one gets scared unless you shoot them.
Was that a part of the game? I forgot about that.
I don't know. I'm sure.
Was that a level or something?
No, it's just what I did in that game. You walk into the strip club with a sniper rifle. You can aim them at the strippers. No one cares unless you shoot anyone. You can just look at their, they don't even ask you to pay you money.
It's such a visual sitting at another table. And the guy walks in, he's like here, he's like, what the hell, is that guy gonna shoot that woman? He's like, no, I don't know. Like, yeah, like just kind of like security's doing nothing.
Doesn't look like it. I'm good for now.
Why didn't you just buy binoculars?
I also like the idea of being that guy.
Yeah,
in Vice
yeah,
City. Everyone, like, you're in the strip club, you walk in the strip club and everyone's in there like, it's fucking Mikey's back. Chill the fuck out.
You could do anything.
I saw him drive a Ferrari off of a building and land it in the water. Can't swim. He can do anything, but he can't swim.
Yeah, can't swim. No, not good swim.
I walked by the hospital. He was just standing there. He materialized out of nothing. It was crazy. Picked up a heart-shaped container and was good to go.
He kept stealing hearts from people. Those are meant for the hospital.
He stole a tank from the army. A cop arrested him after that.
Yeah,
he was out the next day.
Scot-free. Thanks. What a justice department we have here in Vice City. We need new mayor.
Every so often I see him standing on the street. He takes a step forward, a step forward, a step back, a step back. He turns to the left, turns to the right. And all of a sudden he's got every weapon he's ever wanted at his disposal. I don't know if he's entering a cheat code or what.
I can't really blame you. We missed the 80s as adults.
Yeah.
And we really missed the best time.
Yeah.
STIs weren't really a thing. Like at least AIDS wasn't. So like that was good. Cocaine was good at the time.
Yeah, it was good for you. It was productive.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was also widely accepted. Like, well, it's going to be a big afternoon. Let's do some cocaine. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Now we got to deal with all the consequences of everyone else's actions.
No,
not if I live in Vice City in the 80s.
Exactly.
So
Vice City is my
choice.
number 7.
Nice. All right. My number 6 is going to be, to no one's surprise, Red Dead Redemption. But I need to say from number 1.
Oh,
why?
Interesting.
Now, why would I say number 1? Well, it's inverse of the times. Actually, number 2 is a prequel to number 1.
Sure.
So number 1 is actually more of the West is more developed. We have trains running to the West. There is now starting to see electricity. Yeah. Things like that. Well, as much as it's romantic to be in the Wild Wild West, which is also like a period of like 20 years, which is so crazy.
I heard that. That is fucking wild.
Isn't that crazy? We have this idea of like it would be a generation or something like that. 100 years of the Wild West. No, it's about like 20 years.
Yeah.
Actually, I think less. And because we developed it so fast.
Yeah.
You're catching really the tail end of the Wild West there in Red Dead Redemption 1. So the frontier of that is so much more fun because the chance of me getting cholera is a lot less. Or, you know what I mean, of dying dysentery.
Still not great.
Percentages, I'm dying in my 30s.
Yeah, you're not going to make it very long.
But God, am I going to have the best time trying to do it. Now, you start thinking like, I can just go to a saloon and drink. And you're like, yeah, I'd love to have a beer. Piping hot. I can, maybe I'll have sex with one of these prostitutes that's in the saloon. Stinky as all hell. Personal hygiene was not great back then because water was valuable and I'm not going to use it on my body.
No.
I need to make booze with it.
you could take a bath for 50 cents.
50 cents. And then somebody would give me like, how's that bath going? And I'm like,
can you clean me?
Yeah. And you're like, here's another
We'll
buck.
have a very wholesome conversation. How many times did I let someone bathe me in that game thinking it was going to turn into something different and it never fucking did.
Never found the right
What
person.
a waste of 50 cents.
Yeah. But then again, sometimes you could put the controller down and go get food or something like that. And then you're like cleaned up and you're washed done afterwards.
Yeah.
Instead of having to personally scrub myself and press X like an idiot.
No, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. Things get a little tough. Time to make a bounty mission or rob somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds pretty great.
Also, if you're living there indefinitely, then morality is just your meter.
Oh,
like,
yes,
like
yes.
the sliding scale.
Yeah.
So you do enough bad things, just go help people for like a couple of years and you're good to go.
Or shoot a bad guy.
Yeah, true.
Like it's
Which
you don't
is
have to
so
stop
fun.
shooting.
Oh no, it just has to be the right person.
Yeah, I get to meet a vampire. Oh no, wait, that's number 2.
Which is
whatever.
Is weird because when you kill the in Red Dead 2, when you kill like the big mogul guy, whatever his name is, one of the railroad mogul guys, you would think you would get good reputation for that because he was a notorious scumbag in real life. But no, you don't. Do you have a city that you would live in this world?
You know what's funny? You can go back like the Armadillo is obviously the most popular town because you spend the most time there. I think Blackwater is the most fun because there's casinos and stuff like that.
Not Saint Denis.
Well, Saint Denis from number 2.
Oh. Wait, but it would also be in number 1.
I know, but not in the same way. Wait, is it Saint Denis in number 1?
I mean, if it's the same area, you could surmise that it would be.
Well,
there.
you would have to. You're right. It's just beyond the reach that I can see. Yes, you're right. Number 1, you get to go to Mexico though, and number 2, that's not really a big element to the game. Saint Denis, obviously, yes, that would be the place. Yeah. But I think Blackwater is the version of that where it's the most developed, nicest town. It's also some of the worst people, so I'll fit in just fine. Hey.
Speaking of worst people in bad places, Andrew, my number 6 is New Vegas from Fallout New Vegas. Now, you and I recently had a trip to Las Vegas, and this is why I mentioned that Las Vegas might come up later in the episode, because here we are. Now, Fallout is an interesting choice. You know, similar kind of thing to purposely putting yourself in a shitty situation. The vaults have always been enticing to me. I always love retro futurism.
Yes.
I love the soundtrack at the time, and I love the idea of just wandering a wasteland. That seems fantastic. And if I'm going to do it, why wouldn't I do it near New Vegas, which seems everything's gone to shit? Why not just get up in there and be as shitty as everyone else? That sounds great.
Get up
just
on there.
Get up in there.
You know, I tried to not choose places where I was having to scavenge too much. Like, I don't want to know, like, oh God, I might not eat for a couple days.
But isn't that kind of fun?
Is it?
I mean,
this goes down to like a pure element of like somebody's like, hey, do you want to go camping? I'm like, no. We've advanced past that. We've evolved. Why would we tease ourselves with this ridiculous notion?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is like the same element of that. Like, wouldn't it be fun though? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. But when everyone else is doing it, here's the thing. I know I'm going to end up with a stash of Salisbury steaks and all this good shit.
Yum, yum, yum.
I'm going to live in the top of a tower.
See, that is very exciting.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to befriend the super mutants, and I'm going to befriend the feral ghouls. And I'm just going to live my life.
Once again, I think I'm setting myself up for disappointment when I try and check into New Vegas and they're like, oh, the penthouse is taken. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But I can show you, and I'm trying to show like a piece of skin that's been written in blood. But I reserved this. He's like, no, I'm so sorry. This is a high roller. I'm like, motherfucker.
And he's like, let me guess, did you book through Expedia.ca? And you're like, I did.
Next time you please need to book through the hotel.
Please
I'm like,
book
oh
direct.
my God.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to a person with 3 heads and like, yeah. Jesus Christ, like me becoming the accountant in Borderlands.
Yeah.
New Vegas, that sounds great. I've never played the game, but I've seen pictures and I know I'd love this
Fallout in general is a fantastic environment, whether you're playing Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, or Fallout 4. Fantastic.
All right, my number 5 is going to be, to no one's surprise, a very big caveat. I want to go to Rapture, but before the fall. So I only bring this up. I'm not creating a place that didn't exist because in the DLC in Infinite, you get to go back to Rapture before the fall.
Yes.
And man, like I didn't need to see that. I'm only doing that for logic's sake, so a reason I could choose it. But I didn't need to see that to know I would have loved what you wanted. It is like beautiful opulence.
It is. I do have Rapture on my list, so let's hold that until we get there. Okay. Rapture was a must. That was one I knew was going to be on both of our lists. I'm surprised it's not higher on your list, to be honest.
I am too. It's just the inevitable is coming. So I'm like, they're like, when do I get here? They're like December 3rd. I'm like, motherfucker, 28 days.
Yeah, but I'm going and I'm getting into, I'm entering Big Daddy training school. Yeah. I'm putting a screw on my arm, injecting myself.
Andrew seems to be collecting a lot of pipe bombs. I wonder what that's all about. I'm like, it's all good. I just have like a weird fetish. Okay.
Wait, the pipe bombs are what's scaring you? I'm confused because he's collecting little girls.
Come here. No,
and don't crawl through the walls. Will you?
Here's a bunch of needles for you and you and you and well, it'll explain all in due time.
We will when we get to my my pick for Rapture, but before then I'm going to go for my number 5. Not a game that you've played, not a place you're probably going to be familiar with, so we can kind of move past it a little bit quicker, but my number 5 is one of my favorite places from one of my favorite franchises and video game series of all time. It's Majula from Dark Souls 2. It's a little safe haven in and among the world that is Dark Souls 2, which at every stretch is trying to just absolutely turn you inside out, and not in the fun way. It's got a beautiful score, and by the way, I'm assuming that when we choose somewhere to live in a video game, the music from that area is also always.
That's why I have Mushroom Kingdom on here.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So just a nice little melody that's playing there. There's someone who can level you up. I've always wanted to be leveled up in my life. You can also fast travel from there to various parts in the world, do some sightseeing. And what an excursion. If you go out and you want to take a risk and you want to explore and you die, guess what? You're just reborn again. That's part of the canon in there.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I think
Majula, the canon is specific to that place?
No, to Dark Souls in general.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant
but
there.
if you rest at a bonfire and then you die, you can just go back to that bonfire. I don't even need to find my body. You travel light. The only benefit of getting your body is if you have like souls that you've lost. Otherwise, you can just fuck that body.
Fuck off.
Fuck that body. Turn it inside out.
The fun way.
So Majula, just this, I've always loved a bastion of calm in and among chaos in video games. That's always spoken to me. And this is like the prime example of that.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is your number 5.
Yes.
Okay, so for my number 4, I'm going to choose The Sims.
Wow.
So
So you just want to live in real life.
Well, once again, this is a Stardew Valley thing where
Or you
people
just
are
want to
like,
get closer to Mrs. Goth.
okay, you know what? Am I telling the story or not here? Any other jokes you want to step on here? So you say, Andrew, that's just a game based on real life. And I would say, you pathetic idiot, that you have no idea what my life is like because it's not like The Sims. There's no codes for free money. I can't just renovate. First of all, you own a house? Get out of here in this economy. Fuck off. And then on top of that, I just renovate it anytime I want. I'm just like, I got sick of this house. What's tomorrow like?
That's a great
I'm
point.
gonna build a pool.
Like build a pool. Yeah, the infinite money, that's a great point.
It's domestic bliss. Like if whatever Reagan came up with as an idea for America, it's in The Sims.
And what a great idea it was.
Oh, trickle down of comedy, 100%.
I mean, second only to Nixon in terms of presidents I love.
Absolutely. Nixon was very high up there. You tried so hard. You get to be put. It's domestic bliss. You get to be put in a neighborhood. Everyone knows each other. They come over all the time. They're like, hey, what's up?
Yep.
I see you changing. I really want to bang you. Have you met my weird wife?
It's kind of acceptable if you piss on the floor. Yeah. We all do it.
Some guy just shows up to pick you up for a job and goes, hey, do you want to be an astronaut? I'm like, this is what I imagine my life would be like. You're right. Hey, this astronaut, sports star, comedian, scientist is incredible. And you're like, hello, everybody.
See, it's funny because I was so focused on the stress of that game where it's like I don't have time to train myself on becoming a scientist because I have to pay the bills and it's going to take me 35 minutes to take a piss.
Yep.
Because I built my house too large. There's only a bathroom on this side of the house. I'm running at 3 speed.
If I took a 35-minute piss, imagine how good that piss is. Imagine how satisfying of a piss that would be. The other one too is like all the negatives of playing that game would become positives of living in that game. Have you ever thought in a million years that you're like, I don't have enough time for everything. I got to put this plate on the ground. Have you ever thought about that in your real life? That's an option in The Sims. I don't have enough time. This plate goes here now. That's where it lives.
I also like the idea that do you like the neighbor's wife, Mrs. Goff? Invite her over. No pretense.
No.
There's a good chance she'll like you too. Yeah. All you have to do is tell her a joke, give her constant gifts, say da-da-don.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And they have whoopee, or what was the word there they use?
I think whoopee.
Yeah. No, because that's like a sitcom thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. It's just, and there's a place with no judgment too. Men, women, ages,
but
genders, races, doesn't matter.
You've missed something very important.
What's that now?
There is no nudity in The Sims.
That's a very good point.
You only have, say Mrs. Goth does like what you're laying down.
She'll never know though. She'll never, because she doesn't know what I'm working with.
Well, I was talking to your personality.
Oh,
you're seducing her. Still.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
She doesn't come over and you're naked. That's a bold choice. Also, no consequences.
No consequence. No cop's gonna show up like, hey, you can't do that.
You can't.
You can do whatever you want. Also, you don't need to shower every day. Every 4th day is totally fine.
Yeah. The only way you'll know it is because flies will start following you around. What is this? Red Dead all over again?
You're like Big Ben. Yeah. I do also love the idea that it takes me a solid week and I learn how to play piano. You want to cook? I'm like, I'm gonna make lobster thermidor tonight. Do you know how? I'm like, nope. But
it's also a good point. Say you don't have time for stuff. Just start training for a new job. Quit.
Yeah.
Do the other thing.
That does make me laugh really hard. That you're like, you show up and go like, mission command, these are my papers. I've quit becoming an astronaut. Like, what? We have flight tomorrow. You're like, not for me.
No, you don't even give them your paper. The car shows up to bring you to NASA and you just don't answer the door. That's what it is. There's no hauling you into the car like they would.
If people are afraid of conflict, it is the perfect game.
Yes.
You never have to look someone in the eye and go, I quit.
Yes.
Oh,
I love that.
Dream.
Andrew, when you first brought it up, I was like, what are you talking about? You've absolutely convinced me that is a viable option.
Wait until you see my next choice.
I can't wait to see your next choice, Andrew. Wait till you see my next choice. And by next choice, I mean my censored bottom. Just kidding.
Oh, you chose The Sims too?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
My number 4 is is more specific than the Mushroom Kingdom, but an area of the Mario world that has specifically the Super Mario world that has always stuck with me. It's Star World from Super Mario World.
Yes.
There was something about the palette and the songs and the nighttime nature of it. Everything's kind of a bonus level and it's mystical. It's a secret area. You feel when you're there like you're just kind of experiencing something that's only meant for you. You got a purple Yoshi to ride around on. There's a bunch of more secrets in there. There's keys to float around. It just feels like it's there as like a bonus level. And it's just there to have a lot of fun with. The Mushroom Kingdom can be a stressful place.
It can.
Come on down to Star World.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really sold me on that. That
I like
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Star World was I always think so fondly of it. I remember the first time I experienced it, it just felt like something no one else in the world had ever seen before. And because, it's pre-internet, so you can't just like look up a video of what Star World is. You just find it, unlock enough secrets and you're there. God, it felt so fucking good.
Yeah, you do. You're in on the secret. Like it is. You there is for a half a second when you unlock that, you go, I might be the only person here right now.
100%. It really gave you that feeling, and it felt worth finding too, because it was very cool in there. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Star World from Super
Star
Mario.
World.
Okay, my number 3. The caveat for this one is that it's plus all expansions.
Okay.
Okay, plus all expansions.
The Sims.
So that's why I said wait until you see my next one. I want to live in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh,
I think this is the dream of a cyclical life, just in and out.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. You are never going to get bored because you're like, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like any of this. I don't like this. I'm going to build something better and faster. And I feel like a frozen lemonade. And I'm going to punch a guy in a panda suit.
And I'm going to hire 100 clowns.
Yes, 100 clowns. And they're my gang. They're my posse. I just walking people, knocking drinks out of hands and stuff like that. Deal with the clowns.
I also like the idea, like now we're in a post-Yelp world.
Yes, yes.
Good luck leaving a Yelp review and not getting shot off of my brand new roller coaster and landing in a lake.
There is something Twilight Zone about, or like Children of the Corn.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, they said something wrong, and then like that, and they and 2 rails from the roller coaster disappear, and you get plummeted towards the earth.
Or never mind that, you just know the person who's dissatisfied because you can see the ranking. They walk towards the exit. You just pick them up and drop them at the farthest place. I've got all day, baby.
While never breaking eye contact.
Yes.
So what did you think of my park? I think I'm going to be sick, and then, whatever.
I did love that, how you could just pick up people and drop them in other places. Yeah.
And the other one too, this is a really small one. Food, whatever you want, that's great. You want to carry balloons, that's awesome. We can do that for you. If you've ever wanted to go to the bathroom and you could never get a bathroom, boy, do I have a real great problem for you. I have a real great solution to you. Excuse me. Bathroom, wherever you want. Bathroom, right there.
Vomit right there.
Vomit right there. No problem at all.
Right there.
On
the vomit.
You wouldn't believe the number of people I have that can clean this shit up. Come on, over here. This guy puked. Let's go. He's my friend.
Sheets change a lot with this stuff. So yeah, you just have as much cleaning crew as you want. I have so many cleaning crew that you're not even going to be able to enter the park. There's a lineup out the door, and you don't enter until some of my cleaning crew leaves.
Yeah.
And they don't leave, baby.
I live in the bouncy castle. That's where I live. That's where I sleep every night. It's fantastic. It's so comfortable.
I like that Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's a good choice.
My number 3.
Number 3. Okay, my number 3. Curious to see if this is on your list. My number 3 would be a childhood dream of mine.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm choosing this one specifically, this area within a larger space, knowing that I can always travel to the other spaces in there. I could surf there. I could fly there.
Mikey, this is my next choice, so we can talk about it together.
It is Pallet Town in Kanto region of Pokemon.
It is Pallet Town.
Yes.
I chose the Pokemon world from Red and Blue in general.
Sure.
Just with a very specific caveat.
Kanto region, yeah.
No Lavender Town. Lavender Town does not exist. This is not a spooky world. This is a comfortable world.
Andrew,
imagination.
Lavender Town can't exist. I don't mind that Ghastly has a place to put his non-existent feet up on the table when he needs to relax. I don't need to get in his way of doing that. But it can be like, have you ever been to Chernobyl in your real life?
No.
So just don't go to Lavender Town. No one's forcing you.
God, that is so funny. I was going to say Edmonton. I just thought like... That's how we think about deserted places we don't want to go to. I'm like, I know it exists. I'm not going to visit it.
No thanks.
No, 100%.
No thanks.
I agree with you on that. Just it existing just means I don't have to go by there.
That's true.
Totally fine. I can fly over. That's totally fine. But yeah, why Pokemon? Why the world of Pokemon? Why Palatown specifically?
It's just imagine a world where wild animals would do your bidding and would gladly get into a ball, and that ball could go on your waist, and I could huck that ball at my biggest enemy, Gary. Just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I could throw a Toro at him. I could throw a Toro at my rival.
Throw a 1.5 ton animal at him. That does my bidding.
Now the dangerous thing is,
oh yeah, what is it?
the scary thing, actually, less than dangerous, is that this is a world, cluing into the Lavender Town thing. Ghosts are real.
Yeah, it's not one of these things where we talk about ghosts and we all understand that, we understand the concept of ghosts.
Yeah,
but no one will confirm it for us.
Right,
which maybe is more scary at times.
Yes.
But in this one, they're like, heads up, ghosts are real.
Ghosts are very real, and they are real pieces of garbage.
Think of something, and
Yes.
I'll tell you if it's real or not. Dragons, real.
Real.
Ghosts, real.
Anthropomorphic shields, real.
Real. Yes. Bombs, they've got faces and real.
Is that a Pokeball? No, it's an IUD.
You know what's not real? Cancel culture.
Oh,
Because Jinx exists.
oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Imagine living in a world where you open your door after a long day of work
Yeah.
and you get home and there might be a mime in there and you didn't ask for it to be there. It's just hanging out and it won't leave you alone, and it can make an invisible wall, and that wall will hurt you.
You could
You could go to that mime and be like, I'm so confused. And he said, you don't know nothing yet. And he casts confusion on you.
Well,
And
he wouldn't say that.
That's true.
He's a mime. You go like, and then a lock and key over his mouth. You could turn this into a horror movie so fast, and you don't even have to include a ghost.
Yeah, true.
You just the long hands of Mr. Mime coming into the window and like pulling himself up, and you're like, holy shit, this is what I got to deal with
And
now.
it feels like he'd be a piece of shit that would do that. Mr. Mime seems like an asshole.
Yes, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got to send one of my sleeping animals to attack him.
Yes.
What a weird life.
And imagine like you're growing up and you're like, Mommy, I'm afraid of spiders. And
Yeah.
your mom's like, you should be.
You have every reason to be. That's your survival instincts kicking
Have you
in.
seen what they evolve into? Don't go in tall grass. I don't care about ticks. They'll kill you over time.
Seriously.
A caterpie will stab you in the throat.
You can just never take for granted that everything might be alive. That
That's
pile
true.
of mud, alive.
Yes. A pile of mud. Literally a pile of garbage. Alive.
Garbage, alive. There's nothing
Yeah.
you could do about it.
Don't play with that magnet set. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, God. Animal genetics, like we're messing with animals. Mew, like, is a thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we're also reviving like Jurassic Park style old animals that don't exist anymore.
Don't do
like
that. That's dangerous.
Bad.
Worms will come on you. They will use string shot, and cocoons will get hard at the thought of that.
Oh, Jesus. I with all that being said, it's a perfect little world.
It is.
I don't have to go to school.
Yeah.
My mom's super chill.
Super chill.
Super chill. She's just like, all right, see you later. See you in 10 years.
I guess take that lightning rat and go do your shit. I don't care.
You're on your own now.
That creepy professor seems to take a liking to you. Go hang out with him with no supervision.
What's your gender? God damn it.
Mom, Professor Oak said he had some rare candy for me. So, Pallet Town and Kanto region.
Yeah, you're number 3, my number 2, Pokemon World. You can go right back up again for your number 2.
My number 2, Andrew, is your number 5, Rapture.
Let's talk about
Let's talk about it from Bioshock.
Yeah.
Again, yes, I want to be there before the fall of Rapture, but there is something so... I considered whether or not I wanted to pick Rapture or Columbus.
Yeah.
Columbia,
Columbia.
which is from Bioshock Infinite. Columbia is in the sky, which has its own set of things that would scare me.
Both are very dangerous.
Yes,
Rapture's
both are
under
very
the sea.
dangerous.
Columbia's floating in the sky.
Columbia's floating in the sky. Very Ayn Rand-esque economics down there. Also very scary.
Very scary. But you know what? I've always had the insinuation that everyone's kind of rich, but then you get there and you realize that's not true.
Well, you can all be kind of rich, but then there's always going to be the richer.
yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
And that's going to there's always going to be a lower class.
Yeah. God, we're just breaking down economics in
Rich
general right now.
people have to pay someone to do the shit they don't want to do.
100%. There's shops there.
Yes.
Somebody's working
Someone's
the till.
working the shop.
Yeah. So
Unless
you own the
welcome
shop.
to the circus of values.
Yeah,
It's just robots, baby.
this is the one I was talking about with hacking.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I just ever since it is a, You know, like the Lost pilot, I've always used that as like an example of like, whoa, TV shows can do this. Eh?
Oh, sure.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I just remember my brain firing on every synapse, like just like, whoa. And I remember the first time that you go, welcome to Rapture. And it opens up the little biosphere and you just see the colors and the tubes. And it took me, I've replayed that game so many times just to get to that level, just to look and kind of like find things that I didn't see before and read billboards I didn't look at before. The neon and the very strong Art Deco style, which has become something I really appreciate, has always made me kind of want an apartment under the sea. Like you don't have houses, you just have your little domicile.
100%.
And I've always loved it.
It's just a very well realized area that there's so much care put into the design of Rapture that there isn't really much imagination we have to have in picturing how it would function or what it would look like, because it's all there. For the bathysphere will get you. That's like the subway. It'll get you from place to place. And pre the fall, pre New Year's, it seemed like a pretty reasonable place to want to be. Sure. I think I would get claustrophobic. I think I would be a little bit scared a lot of the time. But ultimately, just the idea of living in this, again, kind of retro futurist kind of vision of what humanity could be. Sure, let's burn it all to the ground and start again.
You know what? You say that like about being claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But like it's big. Like it's really big. It's
Rapture
not like a
is,
weird cruise ship or something like that. Like there's pretty much anything you want. There is a version of it down there.
Yes, but I think it's more the claustrophobia comes with just knowing that there are limits to space. And even on a cruise ship, you can be in a theater on a cruise ship and it's still a little strange because you know that there is a containment to the overall area. And I think that would kind of play on me a little bit.
So a big part of this is always that I kind of never understood.
Also sunshine.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be vitamin D deficient. Yeah. Which would cause the New Year's Eve meltdown of society.
Yes, exactly.
When I started playing too, I was kind of relatively young and I always thought like, you know, what, one night it all just came down and you just got to imagine you're going to get there and to see the ticking time bomb that is this society where you're like, it didn't happen in one night. No. It was just setting up for that one night.
Yes.
Like that, you know, like the plastic surgeon that's fucking everybody up and you're like,
he's not great.
So
Bob.
what are we doing about this? And it's like, no, everything's totally fine. Like, I think the piano guy's lost his mind. And you're like, no, totally normal.
100%.
Yeah. I think it'd be so much fun to see all that stuff happen.
And to hang out with those guys.
Totally.
I want to hang out with the surgeon. I want to pick his brain. He's a real Dr. Dench.
Yeah. I'm going to look.
I've got plasmid posters on my wall there.
The plasmid's right behind my head there. But you know, the thing is too, I don't even think I would touch the plasmids. I don't think I would touch them. It's kind of like right now where they're like, but it's so great. You wouldn't want that. I'm like, heroin exists now. I've never touched it. Like I know it'd make me feel phenomenal.
But does heroin summon bees from your hand?
When you're all high, yes. I'm summoning lots of shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe you're right.
Like, I don't think I would. I think I'm just good enough with a handy wrench and a revolver.
Yeah, the wrench and the revolver is that's
what
a good
else do I need in this life?
Yeah.
You know? And then I would immediately go to the Big Daddy Factory, which is a
you can
great
also do
bar
that
I
here.
like going to on the weekends. I'm the most popular guy there.
Big Daddy Factory.
My my hairy chest, and I'm ready to go. It's and just kind of get in with the big daddies.
Yes,
and then you're kind of set. Like I don't know what else you need.
I love the idea of it. I would love to explore it. And worst comes to worst, you could just go back up to the top. The bathyspheres will take you there. Although you'll be in the middle of the ocean, so maybe that doesn't work. You got to wait for another fucking plane crash to bring you down. Yeah. So that was my number 2.
All right, my number 1 is going to be shocking to a lot of people. It is going to be the Animus in the world of Assassin's Creed.
That's a great pick.
Thank you.
That's a great pick.
So Assassin's Creed, kind of often a punchline in this podcast, and not because it's like the worst game of all time, but because
far from it.
Far from it.
Yeah.
It's because of the weird limitations it puts on itself story-wise, the fact that you are going in these amazing worlds and doing all these things, and then you're like, hey, time to go back to that office building.
Yes.
You're like, this sucks. Except, ironically, I want to go to that office building.
Yes.
I want to live there because then I could go anywhere.
Yes.
And I could be at anything and I could be powerful and I could be dropped into my own storylines that I am literally living a video game.
Yes.
Because I can be the avatar that is traveling all over the place.
That's great. And that builds in a little bit of a failsafe where if anything happens to you in the Animus, I don't think canonically in the story you die in the Animus.
I don't think it's good for you though. No, because it resets the Animus, like,
right. It says desynchronize it, right?
Yes, and then you're like waking up like, God damn it. Yeah.
So I that kind of builds in a failsafe, like you're not going to die, kind of like the death loop thing in Black Reef, where you're not going to accidentally get stabbed in the throat by an assassin.
Yeah.
Which, don't advise it.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I'd say avoid that if you can.
Yeah. How do you love your ring fingers? Do you?
I don't need them.
How attached are you to them?
What would you rather have, a ring finger or a hidden blade?
Well, hidden blade.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't have both.
No. I don't need both.
No.
Got a hidden blade. Granted, me using the hidden blade, I'm very quickly going to lose my pinky and my middle finger as well.
I'm going to put it through my other hand so fucking fast. I'm like applauding like somebody. I'm like, oh my God. Like a busker on the street. I'm like, that was very good. Oh my God. And I'm bleeding.
Tying my shoe, just like spiking like I'm Baraka on my own feet. Like, yeah.
I would be a lot of fun. I think I would get a job so quickly at like a Brazilian steakhouse. And I'm like, well, time to put some meat on the fire. Just shaking my palms at the fire.
That would be great. You know, every time you like cook yourself a meal and you sit down at dinner on the couch maybe or something like that, and you're like, fucking forgot my cutlery. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Because that's also what I did. I took off one ring finger. I got the hidden blade. I took off one ring finger and I got a fork.
My thumb's a spoon.
Yeah, yes. I'm a Swiss Army man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love the animus. I love the imaginative element of it. You can go anywhere. You can go to ancient Greece. You can go to ancient Italy. You can probably go to the future. I'm sure they've got something for that.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, it is the future too, isn't it? But whatever. You can go to Valhalla, that style, the Greek style. Yeah. So,
yeah. That's a great, I love that pick.
Thank you very much. That's my number one.
My number one is going to be, this is the first place I ever considered while playing a game, wanting to be in as opposed to the real world.
Okay.
I literally said to my mom at one point when I was playing it,
oh boy, here we go.
Mom,
yeah,
if I disappear one day, which this would have been horrifying for a mother to hear. I said, if I disappear off the face of the earth one day, I want you to know that I'm okay. I got offered the opportunity to live on Windfall Island from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Oh, wow. One of the most serene places, idyllic. There's also some danger out there. I can always take my boat depending on which way the wind's blowing, but I have a trusty, I think a violin or a lyre or something like that where I can change the direction of the wind.
Nice.
Flute, who knows? I can't remember. Probably a woodwind instrument.
That would make sense.
That would make sense. There's great music. There's games. There's galleries. There's a bunch of little shitheads hiding in trees. There's rats who are also shitheads hiding in tunnels. There's puzzles. There's enough to keep yourself busy. And people just seem to have a general good demeanor. Great music sting when you get on there.
Yeah.
I love Wind Waker is probably my favorite Zelda game. And this is my favorite area of my favorite Zelda game. I love Windfall Island.
Ah, see, that's great.
Yeah.
Like that, it kind of ends in a really nice place there because
I'm saying goodbye to my mother.
Yeah.
I'm saying, don't worry about me.
It's kind of like weird, like Lord of the Rings, where you just get on the boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to a heaven place, which is Wind Waker. You know what I mean? It sounds idyllic.
Heaven place on earth.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, there we go. Those are our top 10 places that we want to live. Do you want to do a little recap?
Yeah, I will. My number 10 was Black Reef from Deathloop. I've got the Citadel from Mass Effect, Kakariko Village from Zelda Ocarina of Time. I've got Vice City from the titular Vice City. I've got New Vegas from the titular Fallout New Vegas. I've got Majula from the non-titular Dark Souls 2, Star World from Super Mario World, Pallet Town in Kanto region of Pokemon, Rapture from Bioshock, and Windfall Island from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Beautiful. My number 10 is Mushroom Kingdom. Number 9 is Myst. Number 8 is Pandora. Number 7 is Stardew Valley. Number 6 is Red Dead Redemption 1. Number 5 is Rapture, Before the Fall. Number 4 is The Sims. Number 3 is Roller Coaster Tycoon. Number 2 is Pokemon, not Lavender Town. And number 1 is Assassin's Creed Animus.
Love it. I love that. That's
great.
That's what a great selection of I love these conversations because it really just lets me just go on this weird imaginative journey that is very unproductive, but sometimes you need shit like that.
Also, not a lot of crossover on the list, only the two, so that's kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We hope you had fun. And where do you want to live? Let us know at Rich Grade Mikey, at Rich Grade Andy, and at Rich Grade Pod. Until then, we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name is Andrew Bascom, with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over.
What's that?
What? You're giving me the opportunity to live it.
Oh, there he goes. Oh no. I'll tell your mom.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Maybe I'll go hang up above a spike pit, Mortal Kombat, get uppercut by Johnny Cage, landing the spikes or something.